Hello, everybody, and welcome to Bright Founders Talk at Temi. Temi is an international software development company that designs, builds, and delivers software for sustainable businesses and promising startups. Welcome to our podcast, where we bring you the most inspiring stories of entrepreneurs and experts in the software development industry. And each week, we interview successful leaders to share their unique journeys and valuable insights. I'm your host, Barry, and today we are lucky enough to be joined by an amazing guest, Lior Eldan, co-founder and COO at Moburst. Hello, Lior. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today?
Hi, Barry. I'm doing great. Great to be here.
Lovely. Firstly, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to speak with us. We know that you're very busy and we do appreciate it. Now, for anyone who doesn't know who you are or your company, God forbid, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and the company that you work at?
As mentioned, I'm one of the co-founders of Moburst. We actually started off as a mobile marketing agency almost 12 years ago, so been around since 2013. Um, and over the year evolved into a full service digital global kind of one-stop shop agency. So today we have a team of about 100 people spread out across Israel, Europe, and the US, with wide range of services from media buying and kind of traditional marketing services, all the way to development and PR and podcast booking. And one of the strategies which we'll probably speak about is that we're doing a lot of M&As. So that's key strategy to how we're growing. So we actually did in the last a bit less than a year, we did three acquisitions of smaller agencies. So we're excited excited to speak more about that, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you so much. And you do like to acquire companies, don't you? I looked through and I was like, oh, you've acquired this one, you've acquired that one. What is it about acquisition that you particularly like? Why have you chosen that particular area of growth?
Yeah, so I think we realized when we kind of became okay, we were for our first several years we were mobile only, and then we kind of had clients ask us for to take care of the website or whatnot, and one of the strategies we figured out is, hey, let's acquire. We can actually have not need to develop services ourselves. We did build several services ourselves, but the your ability to gain, momentum and to get another founder-led service business with obviously the clientele that brings with him. That also opens up a bunch of cross-sell opportunities for us, kind of servicing the smaller agencies, clients, and us, and we can offer new exciting services to our existing clientele. So it's usually a win-win, and most of the majority of the kind of founders we've acquired are still in the business with us because kind of they've seen tremendous growth. So it's been working well so far.
It might be a little bit off topic, but I did have a look at your website on my mobile phone just before we started. The person who designed that is a genius. Yeah. I didn't want to buy your product, but even though I wasn't buying your product, I was like really curious about it. I thought, oh, actually, could I resist? Could I resist going on this website? So kudos to them. You obviously got the right people there. Can you just
Thank
talk
you.
a little bit about your prior journey to Moburst? Like, are you an entrepreneur by spirit? Are you the kind of person who likes to lead or follow? And how did that get you into the world of Moburst?
Yeah, sure. So I think I grew up in Israel during the 90s, was kind of a big tech boom, and my father was a tech high tech founder executive. At the time, he was working with Japan, so we would get kind of all the latest. We had very early on, like a cell phone in our in the car and a mini disc, and so I think I was exposed to tech from a very early age and to kind of the idea of entrepreneurship. So I think I after kind of the service at the army, it was very natural for me to look that way. I was also very passionate about the internet and marketing when I kind of in I think it was around 2007. So Google search and how to affect it. It was really a wild west of sorts. So got into that and SEO and started working for a UK agency actually. and then got into the world of online reputation management. So still the world of how to look at ranking well on Google, but now from the perspective of people and companies. And then that was, I don't know, 2012. Mobile was just starting, and I knew I wanted to get in. I hooked up with Gilad, which is a friend from the army. He was kind of just starting his own mobile consultancy, and we set up to build a company out of it. Yeah, and it's been quite a journey. We started off as a startup, so raised some money very early on. We kind of moved to service US clients, and it's been a roller coaster from there.
Yeah, it sounds like an amazing experience, especially from the army. I bet you've learned some skills during that time that may be applicable in terms of like discipline and regimen and making sure everything's done properly. I wouldn't like to do it, but I know kudos to those. Maybe it isn't a choice for you, but kudos for doing it all the same. So let's talk a little bit more about the company because that's what we're really excited to talk about. So, like Moburst has helped hundreds of apps like achieve millions and millions of downloads. Like, what's your approach to balancing like creativity with data-driven optimization?
We try and take, again, as you mentioned, we work with so many different apps and companies of different sizes. What we like to bring to the table is more of a full funnel approach. So sometimes the client would come and they want influencer marketing, for instance, but their landing page or their app page isn't ready for Prime. So we kind of advise them, hey, let's do some work on how the app looks like. Let's do some work on the product itself. Maybe we start doing a campaign, it's not converting, so let's work on the onboarding, let's work on monetization. So I think taking on that kind of full funnel approach and understanding that it's not just about running the ads or getting influencers, but getting to the real business results that the clients are after. And through that, we've really developed I think lots of best practice and kind of essentially methodologies on how to take apps from A to from being a startup, which we've helped several amazing companies. We helped Reddit when they were just getting into mobile, and even beasts like Google working with all their B2C apps. So we've seen apps of all shapes and sizes, and I think there are certain elements of what to optimize, what to look for that kind of are probably relevant for all the apps out there.
What kind of pitfalls do companies often face when they're trying to scale that app marketing, and like how do you help them avoid making these mistakes?
So I think first off, I think people underestimate, certainly nowadays, but that's been true for several years, that it's not only about building an amazing product. It's not only about getting your app to the App Store and Google Play. It won't kind of fly in and of itself. So just the notion of okay, there actually needs to be marketing done here. We need to spread the word. That's kind of a phenomenon that we think we see people underestimating and putting, again, of having a good product is probably key. But in terms of just the budget allocation, usually you need a good multiple of the budget you invested in the product just to be able to get the product to users. So that's, I think, one kind of element that it's a competitive market. There are over 3 million apps out there, and to get your app seen and to meet the right users, and especially if you're not a known brand, there's users that I think are skeptic and not, and we're seeing through the years that it was much easier to market an app in 2015 than it is today, just because lots of people already have the apps they're used for. Having said all that, you still see apps kind of dominating, and I think the growing from zero to hero. And I think the one of the nice phenomena of the app stores, which also not many people knew, is they actually give some sort of, so new apps, the app stores would surface them and give them some initial kind of boosting for the first week or so. So we also help lots of app developers kind of prepare for that initial phase where you enjoy a tailwind that can get your app some virality.
So when I was going through your LinkedIn, I saw some of the massive names that you've helped support, and also some smaller businesses. But what I'm really curious about is, does your approach differ? Like, if you're talking with like behemoth companies and you're talking with people, maybe startups that you're just going out for the first time, do you have a different strategy, or is the strategy for mobile growth actually the same?
Well, I think it's budget is obviously a concern, and is looked very differently depending on the size of the client. So I think with the bigger companies, they're usually, on looking on the incremental effect, and again, even a few percent of conversion change for an app with hundreds of millions of downloads. That's huge. Versus an app that has a few dozens of downloads, they obviously need a bigger swing. So there are slightly different how we look at it, and what methodologies we might take. But I think coming it from a test and learn approach to see, okay, like we know, especially now that we've worked in so many verticals, we know what has worked in the past for certain verticals for certain users, but that doesn't necessarily mean that's the case for this app. So we test, we see what works, we double down on what works, and if not, we test other approaches. And lots of our services, whether it's a conversion rate optimization, which is how you look on the app stores, or just the banners and videos, are a lot around the influencers. It's a lot around let's test and see what works. Let's analyze. We're very data driven in how we approach these optimization, and as I said, let's double down on what's working, and see if we can find more.
Interesting. If we look at like mobile or digital marketing trends at the moment, is there anything that out there that you're particularly excited about right now?
Yeah, so one thing we're very excited about is there's kind of a new acronym in the digital marketing sphere, and that's
Another one.
uh, yeah, and that's AEO or GEO, which is essentially how to get yourself get visibility on LLMs, on ChatGPT, how to make sure when asking relevant questions, relevant prompts, your brand is mentioned. So we've been experimenting and starting to service some of our clients, and we feel that we have a very unique proposition here, because as opposed to SEO, where it's a lot about what's the content on your website and the links and that kind of stuff. AEO is also about LLMs look at citations, like where you mentioned, even if you're not linked, where you mentioned on big publications, who wrote about you, and there I think the fact that we also do PR, and we also do podcast booking, so LLMs look at all that content, and we're seeing, just for some of the companies we work for as well as ourselves, we, for instance, got several publications in the last few months from Forbes and Ad Age and DigiDay, and we saw our visibility across LLMs spiked. So it's a very interesting world, and also reminds me a bit of the my old days as an SEO, where you do something and then GPT-5 came out a month ago, and suddenly all the metrics change. It's a whole new game. We need to kind of understand how it's working now, and also the tools are still being built, and working on building some tools around that to understand like what actually moves the needle, and how can we optimize for our clients.
How do you see the role of AI in particular evolving, especially in like the creative testing space, or perhaps even in campaign automation?
So I think in every element, in every kind of path of the way, there's probably room for adding AI oriented optimization. So creative, there's obviously the whole world of AI in creative. We're experimenting a lot with AI creative are kind of and so far we've seen that yes, you can go into VO and do a prompt and it will get you a video, but when you're looking for consistency and brand guidelines and to make sure you can really keep a tight storytelling throughout, you still need the kind of human creative in the loop. So we're working on so that's kind of on creative, where we're kind of forming, okay, where can our team, what's the added value we can bring and how can we leverage these tools to save up production costs. We don't need to go and do crazy shootouts. We've actually had a few interesting cases where we've used AI to to create the scene, or and then in terms of the ideation and storyboard. And then in order to, control all the details, we went and did the production, but the production was based off of what the AI created, which was an interesting use case of how to kind of mix, reality and AI. So there's a lot in terms of creative, and then in terms of the optimization stuff, obviously, like I think all the media outlets, Meta and Google are kind of introducing tools of their own. We're trying to build on top of it to ask kind of, okay, where does the next dollar, where is it most effective based on the performance? We've invested a lot in our BI infrastructure to kind of enable us to be AI ready in terms of how we look at stuff, and obviously to eliminate some of the tedious reporting tasks. So lots of automation around just taking the data and putting it into a deck, so then our analysts can actually do the clever work of understanding the trends and rather than just copy pasting. So that's just a few examples of how we're using AI.
One of the questions that I do like to ask people, especially in relation to AI, do you think the hype around AI is a little bit oversold? When you're coming in and doing these projects, do you feel like, oh, this is going to be like amazing, it's going to just blow everything out the water, and maybe not disappointed, but maybe your expectations need to be find yourself being tempered a little bit? Or are you an underestimator? Are you one of those other people who think, oh, it's just a fad, it's not going to add much value? Where do you fall on that spectrum?
No, I'm totally sold. I'm a big I think it's transformational in terms of what it will do, to everything, not just marketing and in our business. And we're investing a lot in becoming ourselves an AI first, and so we kind of about a little more than a year ago, we formulated an AI team and created an AI champions program, where we took members from each department, since we understood that there are different use cases. A creative guy might have different AI needs than the content writer, than the developer, than the PR account manager. So we took kind of from different places in the organization teams. We made sure that they have can invest a significant amount of their time, and started working with this group to start essentially training and thinking about what use cases should we use. And we started to do AI hackathons, which is, we all know what hackathons is, but we think of it, for developers. It's very different when you take a group of non-technical people and put them in this context. But I think we've created a good system where we have the support of technical people as needed, and we have a team group for a day. We've seen amazing, like, actual products come to life from people which again are not developers, and so I think there's it's really transformational in terms of what can folks do, like, besides working with all the different LLMs and using that for their day to day, but actually, like, have a need, and you can go ahead and build it up to the 80 or 90%. Sometimes you need someone technical just to give you the last 10%. But I think the enablement, we've seen the teams that have gone through this process really kind of get from people which were non-believers, and again, it's not for us, to AI advocates, and really kind of updating on what's new and testing all the latest tools to the limits. So we're definitely big believers, and it's everything is moving so quickly in the industry. It's really staggering the pace, and it's difficult to keep up. But I think there's a lot about, and I'm definitely aware of the voices that it's not there yet, and people which aren't. I think it's a lot about how you use it, and when you understand that it still needs the context. You need to understand a bit about prompt engineering. And one of the things we're excited now about is to start and offer kind of AI transformation as a service to some of our clients, and sharing some like the success we've had here, and the kind of model we've framed with AI champions and AI hackathons, and start working with some clients to get that embedded, because everyone wants AI, but I feel generally companies are kind of scattering all over to figure out how to do it and how to use it. And it doesn't seem that lots of, I think I saw a few weeks ago, there was a big MIT study come out that I think 95% of the AI pilots in companies fail, which is crazy.
Wow. Yeah.
And I think it's exactly that. It's either having an isolated group only do AI, and then the rest of the company doesn't touch it, or just expectations on what can be done within a certain time frame. But yeah, we're very excited in AI too.
That is a really interesting stat. Like I can't believe that it's that high. Do you think that could be perhaps people just saying AI is the thing, we need it in our company somewhere, just put it in there? Do you think it could be that just jumping on the bandwagon without really understanding the benefits or limitations that AI could bring?
I think it's change management. This is a significant change in how you think about doing any role in the company. And I think I saw a quote from Fiverr's CEO to in his note to, like, there was a bunch of CEO emails that kind of got leaked out. I think from starting from
Do you love it when that
Shopify to
happens?
several others. Yeah. So he said, like, if you're working like you did in 2024, you're doing it all wrong. And that really got me thinking, like, wow, you should really treat your work, your day-to-day work, differently. And that's hard. People, certainly big companies, which have worked in certain ways for years. And so I think it's, as opposed to, I don't know, many technologies where you can, okay, now there's, social media. So let's have a social media strategy, top down, and it kind of happens. This is something that you have to take a bottom up approach. Like, you need to make sure the every person in the organization has a decent understanding of what's it about, what's the goal, has the tools and knowledge, because it's, yeah, there, I think, with all the buzz, it's still amazing how, and when you look on kind of corporate America and big companies, I think AI, in terms of really getting it outside of the tech industry into the economy at large, is still in its infancy.
Yeah, yeah. Listen, Lior, I feel like we've only just started talking, but unfortunately, it seems like we're coming towards the end, which is a shame because I have so many questions that I want to ask you. But my final question will be, what advice would you give to other founders or other CEOs or people looking to like scale their business or start up for the first time? What is the biggest piece of advice that you could give them that would help them?
Entrepreneurship is a roller coaster, and I think it's important to recognize that, and it's very hard to anticipate it, but to know that you're about to have a journey with highs and lows, and to know that when you're a high, it's that too shall pass, as well as a low. And I think it's looking at it as more of a marathon, and just keep going. You obviously need to have validation. I think the fact that today we're in a world where companies are being measured by revenue and not just by idea and growth. So that, I think, helps to that. But as long as you see you have a sustainable business, the world is changing so fast. The economy is, I think what businesses have gone through the last 3 years with COVID, and then the booming after COVID, and then the everything that's happened since. So just I think resilience is key to entrepreneurship.
Amazing. Perfect. Thank you so much for that nugget of gold. Lior, I just want to thank you so much again for talking with me today. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thanks, very. I enjoyed it as well.
That was Lior Eldan, co-founder and COO at Moburst.